Serba Dinamik holdings plunged as much as 71.43% to a new record low of 10 sen as it resumed trading today after being suspended since October 28 last year. The oil and gas counter was last traded at 35 sen, down from its closing price of RM1.61 on May 25, 2021, when the audit issue was first raised by its former auditor KPMG. Its warrants plummeted as much as 71.43% to 2 sen. At 5 p.m., Serba Dinamik stood at 11 sen, still down 68.57%, while its warrants stood at 3 sen, down 57.14%. Serba Dinamik, which saw 580.93 million shares traded, was the most actively traded stock across Bursa Malaysia. Meanwhile, its warrants, which saw 111.57 million units changing hands, were the third most actively traded. Following the tumble, proprietary day trading and intraday short selling of the securities were suspended this morning and will only be activated tomorrow. Meanwhile, brokers are demanding cash upfront for purchase of the beleaguered company's securities. In a note to its clients, AFFIN Huang Investment Bank said that effective today, the cash upfront requirement shall be imposed on any buy orders for Serba Dinamik and its warrants. It said Serba Dinamik and its warrants are classified as non-marginable and no value is given to the stocks in terms of collateral valuation. Meanwhile, Kenanga remisiers were told that due to the uncertainties of Serba Dinamik's financial condition and the special independent review, purchases involving the company's securities are not permitted except with 100% cash upfront prior trade execution. A former aide to Datuk Sri Najib Razak told the Kuala Lumpur High Court today that the ex-Prime Minister, his wife Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor and their children had, on the invitation of Middle Eastern royalty, yachted on the waters of France, Greece and Italy while on family vacations. Najib's former Special Officer Datuk Wan Ahmad Wan Shihab was testifying today in the 1MDB Tenor trial. He said he handled the organising of these trips and that fugitive financier Loh Teck Jo or Jo Loh liaised with him and told him of the invitation from the royals for Najib and his family. For the first trip, Wan Ahmad said Jo Loh contacted him in August 2009 and told him a Kuwaiti prince had invited Najib and family to holiday on the prince's yacht, the RM Elegance, on the waters of southern France. Wan Ahmad said he then made arrangements for an entourage of about 20 people, including Najib's associate and Sarawak-based businessman Tan Sri Bustari Yusof. During this trip, they also met with the Saudi prince, Prince Turki and Tariq Obaid, both co-founders of PetroSaudi International. For the second vacation, Wan Ahmad said Najib and family spent it on the Golden Odyssey yacht, this time on the waters of Greece and Italy, on the invitation of a Saudi prince. In 2013, Najib and his family were invited once again to vacation in the south of France aboard another yacht. This one was named Topaz and owned by Abu Dhabi Prince Sheikh Mansour. Wan Ahmad said he was informed by Jo Loh that his cousin Eric Tan Kim Long would contact him with the details of the trip. He also confirmed that the Hollywood celebrity aboard the Topaz was Oscar winner Jamie Foxx and his family. The Federal Court has fixed August 15th to 26th this year to hear former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak's final bid to overturn his conviction for misappropriating 42 million ringgit of funds linked to SRC International, a former subsidiary of 1MDB. A notice signed by the court's Deputy Registrar Hafizullah Omar was cited by theedgemarkets.com, confirming the trial dates. It has learned that the notice was sent to both the defence and the prosecution, and a member of Najib's legal team has confirmed receiving the said notice. According to the notice, written submissions are to be filed by July 31st. This is Najib's final attempt to convince the court that he was not guilty in using his power as the then Prime Minister and Finance Minister to enrich himself by diverting 42 million ringgit from SRC International into his personal bank accounts. If the Apex Court upholds the judgments of the High Court, which convicted him in July 2020, and the Court of Appeal, which upheld the lower court's conviction happened last December, then Najib will have to serve 12 years in jail and pay a 210 million ringgit fine in default of 5 more years of imprisonment. The central bank will keep its interest rate steady this week to support a still nascent economic recovery, a Reuters poll showed, but start tightening policy next quarter. According to a Reuters report, its April 28th to May 6th poll of 18 economists predicted Bank Negara will maintain its overnight policy rate at 1.75% this Wednesday. Quoting DBS economist Chua Han Peng, the report said BNIM would want to see a durable economic recovery from the pandemic amid growing downside risks before normalizing policy in early second half 2022, despite already having signaled the prospects to withdraw significant monetary support. 4 of 18 economists predict a rate hike could come as early as this month, prompted by widening interest rate differentials with some regional players and the US Federal Reserve. UOB senior economist Julia Goh, who expects a 25 basis point hike this month, reportedly believes the central bank is on the cusp of raising the overnight policy rate in view of expected improvement in economic conditions and upward price pressures. The Reuters survey findings suggested a hike of 25 basis points next quarter to 2.00%. Followed by another quarter point hike in the final quarter of 2022 to end the year at 2.25%. AFFIN Bank says it has obtained approval from the Finance Ministry to dispose of 21% of its equity interest in AXA AFFIN Life Insurance AALI and 2.95% stake in AXA AFFIN General Insurance AAGI to Generali Asia. AFFIN Bank currently owns 51% of AALI and 49.95% of AAGI. In a statement today, AFFIN Bank said it will enter into a share sale agreement with Generali Asia subject to the satisfaction of the remaining signing conditions under the implementation agreement. AFFIN Bank President and Group Chief Executive Officer Dato' Wan Razli Abdullah Wan Ali said the lender sees synergistic growth opportunities for AAGI and AALI with this partnership, which will enable it to enhance its financial solutions and product offerings. The implementation agreement was inked last June. The two parties had also agreed to form a new joint venture encompassing AALI, AAGI and MPI Generali Insurance, Generali's general insurance business in Malaysia. AFFIN Bank's shareholding in this merged company will be 30%. At the close, AFFIN Bank's share price settled unchanged at 2 ringgit 8 sen, giving it a market capitalization of 4.42 billion ringgit.